So here we are at the final session of our 2024 Firth Wānanga. What a massive couple of days. So we'd like to close by inviting some of our speakers and our President, Debbie Tikao, back onto the stage to have a look back over our moments and key learnings and highlights. So I'd like to welcome Debbie, Claire, Gavin, David, and Jocelyn, please. Just a good opportunity at the end of a good, interesting couple of days to try, as I say, reflect on where we're at. So I've just got a couple of really leading questions to throw to you, given that, apart from Debbie, you're not from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I just wanted to hear your kind of reflections on what you've taken from this wānanga and how we can all continue to develop our work in mahi in our landscape work. So it's a reflection on what you've taken, essentially. So who wants to start? I could throw something at the wall and we could all... No.
Looks like it's me. So I'm going to try and keep this brief because I've got to get back and do my hair. But I'm going to make it punchy, all right? So what I got out of it, okay, I've got some words. Relationships, aroha, journey. Are probably my keywords. So relationships, it's just the importance of our connections to each other, our connections to the whenua, and building our relationships with tangata whenua. We talked a lot about that yesterday and the power of those relationships and how far they can take us. The more we connect, the more we have a shared vision, the more we share our thoughts, our aroha, our I suppose our aspirations with each other, and that's what we've been doing here today and yesterday. Aroha, gosh, we saw a lot of that today. It's a lot of aroha, a lot of things that people are doing with their love. A lot of people who put their hearts and their souls into their work, probably not going on holiday to Fiji this year or next year or any year, because they're not about profit, they're about community, they're about the love that they give to their work. And journey, that we are all on this journey and that we feel like actually the journey is really just beginning. We're in a time of such significant change and we're embarking on this journey with embedding Indigenous values and understanding them, and also how to shape a new world. And language, words was the other word on my list. The power of language, the power of sharing our words. A few years ago now, quite a few years ago now, I was actually at a TED Talks and there was one speaker and one line that he gave, and gosh, it stuck to me. So I'm going to share that with you now. And he said, we need to be speaking the new world into existence. We're using our words to speak the new world into existence. So much of what we do, we're trying to retrofit the old. Well, why are we we need to actually, and that, I think I've been harping on about that quite a bit. So I've been playing my cards, but I think it's time that we actually started to think about start visioning of what that new world might be, and speaking it. So that's what we've been doing the last 2 days, speaking that new world into existence. So hopefully we'll continue to do that. What I have given, I hope, it's kind of a bit of all of those things. I feel like there's been a really fair exchange of what I've got and what I've given. Yeah, kia ora, that's me. Yeah.
Does that mean I'm next?
Yeah,
Is that actually you, David? I didn't recognise you without the vest on. So sorry.
It's me. It's fine. I deserve it. Thank you. I guess I'm going to echo a lot of what you just said because I agree. I think the strength and duration of importance of relationships and what we do is, you said it, but I want to echo that. both in terms of getting projects built, in terms of working with authorities and working around authorities, and understanding the nature of our relationships and those sorts of things seems to be a through line that keeps emerging. And it seems that there's a very beautiful, healthy dialogue and transfer of like wisdom that's going on. That's really exciting. And again, I don't mean to keep doubling down on the points you made, but in thinking about this new world and the next world, we live in this interesting and perplexing moment where there's so much wisdom and then also so much bad information. And so it's kind of our responsibility as a community of landscape makers to figure out where that wisdom is good and where that wisdom is bad, and figure out how to push against the bad and lean into the good. And sometimes it can be scary, but it seems like we're helping each other doing that. So that's been really delightful.
Should we just pass it down? Oh, no, you got your microphone.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, again, don't want to repeat everything that's been said, but I think for me it started with the invitation. So for me, there was a very particular intention set in being invited to be here. And with that, I think I was, very privileged. And I think these opportunities, you should always take them whenever people give you that invitation. I think the idea of being able to respond to something very specific and very culturally specific is always a cause for reflection. And I think to do that publicly again is different, because it externalizes what you're thinking, and it's a moment in time, and it's a very particular conversation every time you have those conversations in different contexts. So I think I really appreciate that intentionality, and I think that came through in a lot of what everyone was speaking about. And I also, I just think again about relationships and about common ground. Like, there seems to be so much common ground and so many threads throughout people's what people were sharing. And I think just again the premise of sharing and learning. Like, I certainly don't come here thinking I am an expert by any means, and I think that's what's really fantastic about the nature of many of the conversations I've had outside of just, being on this stage or being in the audience. So I think again, it really is testament to the organisers to frame it in this way, and I think it changes the tenor of the conversation. And I think I have certainly learnt much more than I have shared. So I'm very privileged in particular to have heard some of the things I've heard, but also to attend the co-design session in particular. But I think it is about relationships, new relationships, strengthening relationships, but definitely the learning has been very rich for me. So thank you.
I'm the same. I guess the most noticeable thing to me has been the extraordinary cultural exposure and immersion. The singing right from the very start. We don't really tend to have that at a lot of our formal or other events, and it's really beautiful. We have other ceremonial things like a smoking ceremony and a welcome to country, which are also really beautiful. But it's been so nice to see that side of the New Zealand experience, having been here in the South Island on holiday earlier in the year, and it was just different. I mean, this is a much deeper kind of experience of Aotearoa. The language, oh my goodness, I felt like I really needed a dictionary to understand what everyone was talking about. And slowly I've been taking notes. All right, that means that, and that means that. And asking whomever happens to be nearby. Matt, I'm looking at you because Matt explained quite a bit of it to me, and that's been really nice. So in a way, I'm taking back an aspiration for the things that, how do I open the doors? How do I enable this kind of cultural immersion in the city that is my home city? Loved and valued the sharing. Also really noted a sense of urgency. We're really passionate about this work that we're doing. I'm getting a bit emotional. I think that's a really good thing, that we are passionate about it, that we're emotional about it. Di, I found you incredibly inspiring, that you've had that throughout your whole career, and you've pushed the boundaries every part of the way, even though at times I probably think you didn't need to. You were already pushing boundaries just being there, let alone through the quality of the work. So I think there's extraordinary strength and innovation to be found in this community and in our shared communities across the world. I just wanted to say, I don't know if Elena is still in the room, but it was so nice that we keep talking about the future generation. And I loved having you here with your baby. And thank you so much for explaining, what was it, the very first notes I took were, I'm just going to go back to my, who am I? Where am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? So interacting with purpose, I really loved that. Thank you.
I purposely went last so I could say the least, perhaps. I'm not sure. Give you that. One thing I would echo what everyone said. The one thing I would add is, and I know a lot of us go to a lot of conferences all over the world or all over the country. And what I really appreciate about your event, it was clear to me anyway. It was very intentional. How you lined up these different sessions, everything from more philosophical and broad-based to detailed policy, to issues of compassion and empathy. I mean, all that. It was clear to me, at least, looking at it as an outsider, that you did this in a very intentional way. And I think that's a real compliment to your profession and to your institution. That was a real uplifting moment, and I made light of it. Coming from the U.S. and a lot of the challenges we see, it was nice to come here and to have a really good feel for the people that were here and talking about these issues. And I come here quite often, once or twice a year for the last 10 plus years or so. And it's always an inspiration, frankly, to come back, and it really gives me energy to go back and continue to fight, the good fight. I was talking to a student earlier, and they were saying, how can you deal with these issues? The space I'm working is the natural hazards, disaster space. And I mean, because I think I feed off of the energy of people and all the passion that were people here, talking about what they do and how you're so motivated. That was really just very inspirational to me. So thank you.
Yeah. And you got any other last points anyone wants to make, or anything else? Because I have also taken a lot from it, and I love these summaries because we attend these conferences to hear from what you've already just said, Claire. You're not an expert, but you've actually just opened up that we're all in this together. We're literally all sitting on. You could be sitting there or sitting here or taking these talks. We're all trying to work out what's going on. We're all trying to understand what is happening with our landscape, with our cultural relationships, in a bigger picture. And it's great to hear that the humbleness of you all, that you can acknowledge that in your conversation just now. So, and it just again reiterates the importance of gathering as an institute, but as we go out together and get back into our mahi, we continue the kōrero, which means conversation, as we go forward. So, I want to provide a big thank you to all of our speakers, and thank you for this short little summary session just this afternoon. So, thanks.